back, and today we'll start my first special lesson, and it'll be teaching you about every single block in the motion section. So, let's start. When the green flag is clicked, move 10 steps. I'm sure pretty much of you will know what this means. Let's try. Yes, so the cat is moving 10 steps. And also notice that when you're moving 10 steps, you're moving forward but in your direction. So, if the cat's facing like this way, when we do move 10 steps, the cat will go like this. Now, we want to fix that, so let's use the turn blocks. Turn 15 degrees right. Let's take this away for a while. The cat's not moving, he's in place, but he's only rotating. That looks like what you want to get, right? But who knows if this is 90 degrees the standard, or 91, 89? We can always check that here, direction. So right now we're at 91. We want it 90, so let's get the turn left block. And we want it to turn 1 degree left. Now it's exactly 90. So now let's go to the next block. Go to random position. It'll say go to a mouse pointer if you're using Scratch 2.0 or below. But you can select random position here in that case. As you can infer, the cat moves to a random position every time you cannot detect. And go to mouse pointer, it goes to the mouse pointer. But watch this. As soon as I click the green flag, the cat moves towards my mouse pointer, then the code stops. So the cat just moves right here and stops. So what we need to do is add a forever block so it always follows my mouse pointer. There we go. And now let's add a go to block. This go to block, what I really like about it is it makes the cat or whatever sprite you got go to an exact place you want. 0, 0 is the standard, and if you want to see, then you click choose a backdrop. There's a background called XY grid, and it shows everything. It's really handy. You can use this to locate where you want where your sprites want to be, and on your real project you can choose a different background. So let's change this values here. Then X, I set a negative value so it'll go left of the center line, and Y is a positive value so it'll go up of the center line. See? I can divide it into 4 portions. I'll get it back. I'll call this portion 1, this part to this part, and portion 2 is here to here, portion 3 is here to here, and portion 4 is here to here. This is very similar to math. In math, this is portion 1 where the X and Y values are both positive. This is portion 2 where X is negative but Y is positive. This is portion 3 where X is negative and Y is also negative. This is portion 4 where X is positive and Y is negative. In real maths, we call these quadrants, but since this is not math class, let's call it portions. Anyway, this is the same. Because I've got a negative value for x and positive value for y, the cat should end up with the in the second portion, which it did. And now there's a glide block, which you might have not used so much. And we can change this to random position or mouse pointer. Let's see how it runs. Yes, so the cat is moving to a random position very similar to this block. The only difference is the cat is not instantly teleporting. Instead, it's gliding. And if you noticed, the gliding time from each position to another position, it was all 1 second. So if the random position the cat's choosing is far from the cat's position right now, it'll move faster because there's a limited 1 second no matter the duration. Now the next block is glide to your selected position. And you can also put it like this, and also put some random values. This is very similar to the glide to random position block, but only except I made the values shorter. No, not shorter. I didn't make it go all the way to the end. So, our next block is point in direction. This is a really cool block. Let me see you as I turn this wheel, watch the cat. As you might have guessed, the point and direction is the same thing as I showed you here. If I rotate it, it becomes like this, but point and direction, it gives you exactly what you want. And also, there's a point towards an object. There's a mouse pointer. And if you have more sprites, the sprite names will show up here. But here, it'll point towards my mouse pointer. But just like it was on the go to mouse pointer, it only points toward it once. So we should add a forever block. Yes. Now the cat is always pointing towards my mouse pointer. So we don't have many blocks left. These four are not hard. This one and this one might be a little challenging. And these ones, if you get the idea, they're easy. Let's start with this. Change x by 10. Now, remember that I mentioned that when the direction is pointed to 90 degrees, when I do move 10 steps, it moves straight. However, when I change the direction to something like 135, it moves in that direction. Now, I'm sure there's a case where you want your character in a game or a project to go straight, like straight to the X, but there's a slight limit. The character can be facing any direction. So even if it's facing like this direction, you want it to go this way. How is that possible? take out the move 10 blocks and put a change x by 10. Now, x is the horizontal line, so it follows the horizontal line. And wherever you are, it'll go straight to the right. If you put a negative value here, it'll go straight left. Let's see. Now, in some projects where you do not need to rotate a sprite, it's okay to just use a move 10 steps block, but get into the habit of using change x by 10 and change y by 10, because when you really need it, you might forget. Now, set x to 156 or any value. This block does not change the y value, so even if it's here, the y value will not change, and the x will be set to 140. So 140 is about here. No, here, yes. So now, but it'll not change the y value. So let's see. And as I change the value, look. Now I'll tell you something. I have noticed the maximum x value for a Scratch project is 271. So if you set x to 771. Oh, by the way, the 271 was in the Scratch 2.0 and below 2.0, and the Scratch 3.0. I've noticed it can go more than up to 295. Anyway, so the x, let's set it back to 0. And let's look at the change y block. So now if we do the change y by 10, it, as you might predict, it'll go up. And if I have a negative value here, it'll go down. Now, it's because the y value is the vertical line here. It follows the y, and in any direction, it goes straight down or straight up. Now, let's look at the set y to something. As you might expect, this set y to something is not moving the x, so moving straight down or straight up into the y value you want. Yes, so we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks left. If on edge bounce and set rotation style, those two blocks are probably the most complicated ones on the motion section, but I'm sure you can handle it. So let's get back to the Arctic background. And this does not work by itself. It should have a move 10 steps. Now, as you can see, the cat is moving around, but when it touches the edge, it bounces. Now, the cool thing about this is this is very, very, very frequently used in games such as Pong. And this is the only if block that is created already for you in the Scratch website. This is a really handy block, so make sure you use it. And the direction changes automatically too, so it becomes natural. I think this is one of the greatest blocks. And set rotation style left to right. This actually kind of goes with if on edge bounce. Now, instead of move 10 steps for easier notices, I'll set a change x by 10. Now, oops, wait. Oops. No. Yes, move 10 steps was right because it rotates automatically. But let's just make the direction 90. And let's go to 0, 0. Just to make life easier. And you see nothing special here, right? Now let me change this to don't rotate. Okay, so even if it bounces on the edge, it doesn't rotate at all. But as you can see, the direction keeps changing. The direction does change, but the scratch tells the cat to just not move. Okay, so move 10 steps. That's good. And if we changed it to all around, then it'll go upside down. So you can compare it to as if you're on a race on a 100-meter track. Left to right is you go full and you come back turning around. And don't rotate is you run 100 meters and you come back 100 meters backwards. And all around is you run 100 meters and you walk back the 100 meters upside down. Yes, only 3 blocks left. These are special blocks: X position, Y position, and direction. They cannot be by itself. They have to be put in a block. Change Y by Y position. What's the Y position right now? 0. So change Y by 0, which basically means stay in your position. But if I do this, when Y is 31, it'll move to 62. 31 plus 31. Y position is the variable of the Y position you are in, and X position is the X position you are in. Direction, as you can expect, is also the direction it is in. So, and also these boxes, if you check, you can actually see. And as you move this around, these values change. Okay, so that was it for today, and see you next time when I will do all the blocks in looks. Bye!